voices, strong knowledge tight. Thorough Black Talk in the air. Changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat. Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights, the world will see. Black Power Media on the screen. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned. Breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics. Every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Ancestral line.
Tonight, we got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough Black Talk Worldview. With Brother Tad, Sister K. Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tis the fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain. Bound together like a chain. Thorough Black Talk Worldview. Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk. With your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, sister Marcia, and brother Blacksmith will be joining us shortly. A lot of things have happened this week, boy. We got to get into it. New York City government is trying to rob us. You know, yeah, the Pope done killed over. We got to talk about that. Shannon Sharp, OBKB in the news. Man. And people are still attacking Black Americans on social media platforms. It is getting vicious. But we'll get into all of that in a minute. Let me get my team up on the bridge. Sister Marcia, Brother Tad, y'all ready? Brother Tad is ready. Sister Marcia, you ready? You ready? She's working out the kinks in the back, and so is Brother Blacksmith. Brother Tad, the OG Wisdom Podcast in the building. What's good?
Holla. What's going on, sis? Can you hear me clearly?
I got you loud and clear, brother.
All
you
right,
know,
all
I
right.
just had on that same color.
Come on, you my sister from another mister. I tell you, great minds think alike. We always, a lot of times when you see me and Sister Keisha be in agreement, we don't be talking about stuff behind the scenes like that. We share information, but we be on point like a needle, even to the point of opposition of holding it down as FBAs, because many people know us from our African-centered movements, and we are who we are. We have African ancestry. However, when we get new information, we're going to operate with that new information, and some of the information is old, because as you see, we get it from our elders and our ancestors, so we're not going to deny our bloodline heritage. But the crazy part, Sister K Fighter, Sister Keisha, is people really want me to give up my position of being a Black American, a Black man in America. If I give that up, then who am I? Like, seriously. Who? I think that's the biggest
thing. I bet you these same folks aren't giving up their ideology or their ethnic identity.
Nope.
But there's a reason for that, Brother Tad. It's written in scriptures. There's a reason for this.
It's in the Bible?
It's in the Bible.
We Hebrew Israelites?
It's in the Torah.
I'm
telling you, it's in there.
We the original Anunnaki?
The original Anunnaki. But let's get our sister from another mister. Our sister from the borough of Queens by way of East New York, Brooklyn, and of course, Africans on the rise. Give it up for Sister Marcia.
Peace, Black family. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. It's hot outside in New York City, and it's a Blacktastic Thursday. So I hope y'all all ready for some knowledge and some, fun times with the brothers and sisters at Thorough Black Talk. Sister Keisha, how you be?
I'm good since we rocking the blue right now. I told Brother Tad, I said I had the burgundy on to match with the pink, but it was a hoodie and I was a little warm. So I said, let me take it off.
Well, I think I'm matching everybody right now. Blue,
yes, you are.
Everything. Brother Tad, how you be?
Blessed and highly favored.
That's good.
Won't he do it?
He will.
I'm telling you. So, sis, brother, so many things have been happening, but we're going to kick it off because I don't know what's going on in other cities, but New York residents being held up. We getting hijacked here in the city by local government. And I'm annoyed. I got a ticket and I wrote on the ticket, get it from the migrants. That's exactly what I wrote. I'll see you in court. I don't care if it's $50. I'm going to court. Because you're not getting my $50, goddammit. Get it from Wepa over there, the Ukrainians over there, people who look like the president's wife and them, the Asians. Go get it from them. You know what I mean? We're the ones being held up yet again in this democratic, liberal, pathetic city. So my sister Marcia, she ticked off too. You know what I mean? So she gonna get into it. But before we do, let me give some shout outs real quick. Sister Donna, Brother Kerwin, Alabama, what's good?
Yeah.
K Rush 409. Did we not have family fun last Friday? Looking at our family lineage documents that was showing the rest of it. I'm gonna save that for later. Anyway, love you, cuz. Sister Aruba 927 Doggy Diamond Mars in the building. What's happening? Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County on the check-in. Love it. Sister Farnessa, my sister from another mister. What's happening? Rich, nice. Uh-oh. We got the squad in here. It's about to get heavy. Matter of fact, I'm going this way tonight. We going this way. We're going to drop the link in the chat because I know some of y'all want to join. I got some messages, but I'm going to put it up there because in the next segment, I know y'all going to want to give you one too. You know what I mean? So we want y'all to do that, okay? So, like I said, New York City residents and business owners are being held up by local government. There's a scam that's been going on, and either we comply or they fine us for all kind of foolishness. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox and let my sister Marcia get in here and give y'all the 411 on what's happening with New York City government.
So, you know what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Well, this is what's happening in New York City right now. And it's been before COVID, they've been trying to do this, right? They wanted us to compost our food waste, just separate our trashes in various little buckets. So now we have like 4 buckets of disposals, right? Green, blue, brown, and sometimes red. Any which way. They literally forced people, I wasn't one of them, but people went out and bought these new trash receptacles, right? And they said that, oh no, these are going to keep the rats, the rodents, the raccoons, coyotes, everything out of your trash can. So you don't have to worry about anything once you get these. Now, last month they're talking about, oh, now you have to compost. You have to give us your food scraps in addition to buying the heavy duty disposable trash can so that raccoons and stuff don't get in there. So
now, how much are those trash cans, Sister Marcia?
$55 a piece, I believe, or something like that. But if you know how to work it out, they'll send you one to your house, as long as you're an AARP member.
Got mine.
You can get it. Right? I don't know why people don't be liking to be like, oh, I'm an AARP member. Oh my God, I'm getting well, listen, there are perks to oldership. Now, whether you become an elder and a wise member of the community, that's a whole different type of story. So, needless to say, now, if you don't have, love it. So now, if you are part of this system and you don't abide by what they're saying, they're fining you $50, $100, $150, yada, yada, yada. And it keeps going up every time for whatever reason. So I am calling it the New York City trash heist because I don't really understand. How are you going to summon me to buy these trash cans, and yet you don't want to take the old trash cans away? I spoke to the sanitation people like 3 times, right? Because someone bought trash cans. It wasn't me. But I'm like, so take the old ones because we can't use them. Oh, no, we don't do that. Someone else is going to come and do that. So when is someone else going to come and do that? Oh, we don't know. We're just here to collect the trash. I don't understand. And then our food compost, as I am a gardener, I am learning how to do different tricks and trades. So instead of going out to buy dirt, I can make my own dirt. But they are going to take our food waste and compost them and sell it back to people, sell it back to, other states, other countries, other US IDs. It's going to be an ID process. And we are not beneficiaries of this because they're going to make 10 cents and we're going to make nothing because we're already buying groceries. You get a bag of eggs or a sack of eggs. I don't even know what it's called.
Should a bag of sack of eggs.
A bag of bread and a box of eggs for
a carton.
Whatever we say, brother. Thank you. For $60. And then they're going to make money off of our scraps the same way they did off of our bottles. And we're still not benefiting off of these things. And these are the things that we need to understand. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And we need to, as a community, learn how to turn trash into treasure because we're smart enough. We know how to do it. We just probably don't want to put the manpower into doing these things, but this is money and we're gifting them money and getting nothing in return. So that's my gripe with New York City. Bump you and your trash, compost, whatever. I don't care. I ain't doing it. I'm composting my own food scraps and let's make my own money. Shoot.
And don't forget, Sister Marcia, that they have all of these regulations, right, for dumping your trash anyway. But when you like go out to like Floyd Benefield, where the folks was at, who gonna clean that up? You know what I'm saying? Why they ain't got no composting over there?
No.
Why I gotta have composting?
Yeah, I gotta.
This is what happens when all of you Democrats who voted for this loser mayor and his albino police commissioner, now formerly the sanitation commissioner, I don't trust them anyway. And number two, she can go back to the Midwest too. You a migrant here. Go back to the Midwest, wherever the hell you came from. But we don't want you here at all. I don't like you at all.
And she's from Long Money, so she don't even need the job.
Yeah, she is from Long Money too. She don't even need the job.
Yep.
But your bootlicking mayor, he wants to have favor with certain folks. So it is what it is. And now let me stop. But I'm gonna move on. A shout out to Lumumba Uncaged, my brother from another mother, Philly in the building. Dr. Filet and MWM is on the check-in. And of course, our Be More family, Sister Marie. What's happening? But videos have been flying all over the internet with the French president talking about they did Haiti wrong and they should not have sanctioned Haiti. But I didn't hear nothing about we gonna get his bread back. I didn't hear that part. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. But I didn't hear that part. Sister Marcy, your thoughts on that?
All the things that are happening to France right now, they're trying to find supporters. And the problem is that you can't find supporters from a country where the people are absolutely starving right now. They've imposed these sanctions that they're talking about from 200 years ago have metastasized into something that's 500 years long. There are generations of people that are hungry and don't even care, because now if you're not talking about helping us, you're not talking about anything, and we don't actually need your help. We need you to return what is good and equitable back to us, and that's not what you're doing. All you're doing is lip service right now, and you're doing it because you're trying to say like, oh, Ibrahim Trahim is crazy, so let's talk about Haiti right now because of what he has done to you. And so you're just like, oh yes, but we're good, we're gonna talk about, what they said, they're gonna do a study. So it's still the white man's study on what they can return to the people that they stole. I'm not for it. I'm not part of this conversation. And what I'm finding really interesting as I look up this topic, more people are there's a lot of noise going on in my house today.
It's all right.
But more Urugus are talking about these expenditures than we African people that are in the continent. We stolen people that are there. We are not the ones having these mass conversations, all these mass protests, quote unquote, that are happening around UNs everywhere. Their population doesn't look like me. They look like someone else. So someone else is pocketing something. And the same way that we talk about here in the US about reparations, if we are not sitting at the table, if we are not, creating that table and making a space for us, someone else is going to claim everything. And we are going to be looking like, oh, but what happened? Or we're going to be happy with a $500 check and buy fireworks, like Brother Tad always likes to say, talking about, oh, we made it. We ain't making nothing. And I'm not sure that African people however you claim yourselves, truly understand the macro and the macro, it all sounds the same to me, of it all, because we're too busy trying to be part of the capitalist system, and we need to remove that from our minds, from our psyche. We don't need to be buyers. We need to be builders, like our greatest ancestors were.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Here we go with the same script, different day and time. But this is what these folks do. But I want our people to stay strong and continue. The people at IET continues to put pressure on the government of France. All the turn up that's going on at IET now, y'all need to take some flights and put that on France. Take all that energy right there and handle them accordingly.
They're too much pawns, just like these children will fight one another versus fighting, the cop that comes and beat up people, the cop that comes and shoot someone. It's quicker for us to put our energy against one another than it is to put our energy against the real enemy, because that takes organization, it takes strength, and it takes will. And right now we're missing all three.
Agreed. It is what it is. We must continue our fight on all fronts when it comes to the Yoruba, and play no games. Also, play no games with no sellouts, no bootlicks, none of that. Play no games, because we are in critical times. And, I know you all have heard that before, but we seriously are in critical times, as, not only are we trying to reclaim who we are, maintain what we have, continue to make ourselves relevant, but now we got to fight up against AI as well. So it's a lot going on. But moving right along, family. Now, recently in the news, former NFL player, sportscaster, and now podcaster Shannon Sharp got bit by the snow bunny, the snow bunny in the winter. Allegedly, that he made some calls that, well, matter of fact, why do I have to tell it? I said, AI is on 10. Well, these memes ain't stopped since this thing about Shannon have come out. So I'm going to play this AI video and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Here we go.
Did you find it, sis?
Is she frozen? Oh no, there she is.
In public.
Sorry about that.
Big black guy chose small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did what they think you did to me. Well, what, Gabby?
You're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why.
I want to know why folks don't learn. Why people don't listen. Why it's not going in well. It never does. This happened over and over again. Didn't what's his name? What's the comedian? Cat Williams warned him about that. Let's go back to Cat.
Want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go, come on, Cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
He didn't lie.
Taken.
it's insane that these entertainers, and the like, not just entertainers, but don't listen. You don't learn. You always think it's going to come out different for you. It never does. It never does, especially when you have critical things to say about the natural woman. Okay? Let's play I Am Madam President. We'll come right back. Here we go.
Okay, I just want to say that white women do to black men everything that they accuse the black woman is going to do to the black man. They say, oh yeah, when you black and successful, a black woman will tear you down. Are you sure? They say, oh, when you black and you successful and you rich, a black woman don't want you to have nothing. Are you sure? They say, oh, when you successful and you got money, you can't have a black woman at the table. She can't. Are you sure? The white woman does everything to black men that black women have been accused of doing. I haven't seen a case yet where an attorney took the words of a black woman and used that as the basis to ruin a black man's career. Not once. Okay, I just want to say that white women do to black men.
I said
you ain't learned from Kanye
before. I'll say it again.
You ain't learned from Diddy. You ain't learned from Jay-Z. You ain't learned from all of them before you. Are you crazy?
I'm different.
Oh,
I'm the big black man.
Oh,
no white woman with that. And at the end of the day, you're still a pedophile. Just because you're 50 and she was 19 still doesn't make it okay. There's a 30-year gap. There is absolute problem with you, man. This person could have been your child 3 times. She could even be your grandchild. There's a problem with that man. And I don't care who doesn't like what I'm saying, because we're not being realistic. 19 and 50 don't work together.
It sure enough don't. Because if you come to my door with my 19-year-old daughter, I hope you wearing that black suit. Because that's what you leaving in. You leaving in that black suit, whether you came with one or they put one on you as a bag. But let's play this clip from Candace Owens, who, by the way, Shannon Sharp disrespected at one particular time. She gonna get her wake-up call too, but let me just make this video play and we'll come right back and we'll discuss.
Updates on the Shannon Sharp case. Updates. I hate, not in a great state.
Big black guy.
Liquor than fire.
$10 million to try to settle this thing. Obviously, settlement talks blew up and now it's public. She said that her butt cheeks cost $50,000. That's what she told him.
It's delicious. Thank you, chef. The temperature's perfect and the roll is crispy. Yes, chef. Would you like to have a little taste?
Well, anyway, some of you guys were asking the question, Candace, why would he offer her $10 million if he wasn't guilty? And I'm telling you why he was offering her $10 million, because Shannon Sharp was in talks. People were going to buy his entire podcasting network, and the deal was supposedly worth $100 million. So look at this, okay? This is Shannon Sharp Eye's $100 million podcast deal as volume contract expires. He was on the brink of a $100 million deal. And then this woman comes forward and she's like, I'm going to release all this publicly or I'm going to sue you. And your instinct has got to be to shut that down, okay? Because we're talking about the difference of $90 million. You pay her $10 million to go away and you're signing a $100 million deal. I don't know.
The right number. And the right 50 million, I go to hell. For 50 million, I go to hell. For 50 million, I go to hell.
Well, you in it now. I gotta laugh because people don't freaking learn. You don't learn. You came from the backwoods of Alabama. Speak so highly of your grandmother, how great she raised you, but you turn from everything that is her. You deserve what you get, partner. So, hold that L and handle your business, Mr. Sharp. You are no different from the rest of them, and y'all don't learn. But anyway, Brother Tad, your thoughts on Sucker Shannon Sharp?
You know me. I keep telling people, man, stay away from the white girls, please. They mean you no good. I mean, every atrocity we try to cite in U.S. history concerning black and white relationships have often been at the behest of white women. Scottsboro Boys, Central Park Five, George Stinney of South Carolina, Emmett Till, um, um, even with the young brother out there in Long Island, the White family. The family name was White, you know,
John White.
John White and his son. You know, shout out to our big bro, Big Mike, who held them down. You know, anytime you see situations like that, you always find them in the middle. Whether it was Kobe Bryant, all of these dudes, I don't get it. Part one, part two. He already acknowledged he would sell his soul. We just saw him say for 50 million, I would go to hell. It's like, who, what, and where are we? We really caught up in this matrix. I was just having a conversation with a brother just a few minutes ago. One of my homies passed this morning, you know, rest in peace to my brother, Norman Skibo Major. We went to junior high school, so a lot of people around the corner in front of the building. This is the third homie we lost within the past month. We didn't even have the funeral for the second young brother, and already but I was talking to my brother Jelani, and we was talking about the matrix and our perception of reality and what we think reality is. And when you have a certain set of values, you stand on those. Now, whether they're good for you or bad for you, only you can determine that. However, these dudes that get this money, that becomes their value system. He said he would sell his life for $50 million. So you get $50 million. Do you really want to go to hell for a measly $50 million? I don't want to go to hell for nothing. And I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go to hell. Let's just put that on the record. Not for $50 trillion, not to be the ruler of the world. I don't want to go to heaven. I'm not taking a vow of poverty neither. I'm going to get my money the right way and do it right. But I say that to say that this reality that's manufactured for all of these black men that get these Jewish lawyers, accountants, attorneys, and managers, you're falling into their value system and you're mimicking their behavior. And you know this is not how your grandmother raised you. You know this is the kind of behavior that we look down upon within our community. Don't get around these folks and show your ass. And that goes for all of them. And it's so unfortunate that Willie Lynch has divided us on so many levels, and brothers are still out here perpetrating the BS with acting like white women are better than black women. And whether she was an OnlyFans model or your private prostitute, leave her alone altogether. You know they mean you no good, and I don't know what it's going to take. I've never been bit by a lion a day in my life, never been chased by one. But I'm not going to jump in the cage with one and find out if what you hear about lions or see what they can do is true. I take people's word for it. History has taught us, leave these white girls alone. Please, black man, leave them alone. Why do you got to get bit by the snake to know that it's poisonous? Leave them alone. But it does us a disservice as black men who really out here trying to give right information, right knowledge, trying to be upstanding men within our community. And then when we get a position of power, what Kanye says, when they get on, they leave your ass for a white girl. Cat Williams tried to warn you. You shun Cat Williams' advice. But Cat Williams is doing pretty good, not just financially, but in his predictions about what's going on too in society. But as our brother Black Dot says, you got to use your first eye. We don't call it your third eye. Use your first eye. Use your good old common sense that God gave you, man. Because it's hard to cheer our brothers on. You know, I celebrate any brother that could take care of his family, lift himself up out of poverty, create means to take care of his loved ones. But don't squander it with this foolishness, because why do she get 10 million? Because you're going to pay her. Don't be nobody's fool. You're gonna pay her. You messing with the op's daughter. And I want to just close this to anybody who's watching this. This ain't about hating nobody. That's right, Sister Donna. Monique warned them too. This ain't about hate. This is just about who we are as Black people. Because what I realized, unfortunately, as an FBA, a foundational Black American whose family been in this country for centuries, I think Black people, Black Americans in particular, are the only people who really study race relations in this country. White people, they take it as an elective. They get bored with their life and then say, well, let me see what this George Floyd and Dr. King thing is about. And then they act like they discovered water. Did you know that there's a group called the Ku Klux Klan? Like all this foolishness. Non-FBA, continental Africans, Caribbeans, they come here. And though they may have an idea of how Europeans colonized every facet of Black life, I don't think they learn the intricacies of what goes on this land, or they really wouldn't come here thinking it's going to be better than wherever they are, as opposed to building up their own home. Because you're going to face the same colonization mindset here, just with fancier cars and bigger houses. That's it. Superficially, it's different, but fundamentally, it's the same. Mm-hmm. So, as a Black man who has knowledge of self, who's aware and mindful of the challenges we have, please, Black men, please leave these women away. Leave these women alone. Stay away from them. I know we have challenges with our own interpersonal relationships within our community, but that's the work we have to do. Not run away from the work, but as men, we're supposed to run towards it. Just like firefighters, they see a fire, they see trouble, they run to it because they know it's their job to remedy that and try to minimize any type of damage. And that's what we have to do within our community. We see all these podcasts about Black men versus Black women. So you run to the Snow Bunny and you run to the hot tamales over in Mexico and all that stuff, man. When you really got God's template right here in front of you. I always said, if God made anything better than a Black woman, he kept it for himself. Leave these women alone. If you got a Black woman that's not working out, on to the next one.
There you go.
Keep trying till you get it right. But then you got to question yourself why you not getting it right. And making dumbass decisions like this because you got the money to shows why you messing up. But I'm stepping off my soapbox. I'll give myself my own round of applause.
Go ahead.
No, but I'm tired of these dudes, Sister Keisha. I'm really. Oh my God! And you bring
now. Wait. Brother Todd, your applause button isn't working. We didn't hear it. Nope.
You don't hear it, sis?
No.
Oh wow.
No. But speaking of Kanye, on his X page, it's still up there. Well, it was as of this morning or yesterday morning. Sorry. But he has now, let me just play it. Then we'll come back. I told y'all this month. Go ahead. I'm all doing. Hold on. Tad had to go in the dark, so you already know where we're going. Hold on.
Celebrities have reacted to Kanye West coming out in a brand new tweet that he posted online. First up, Rihanna said, "No way this real man." Next, Katy Perry said, "Kanye." Next, Chris Brown said, "Who even believes this?" Next, Drake commented underneath a screenshot of the tweet with 2 laughing face emojis. And finally, Amber Rose said, "We knew this already. People have speculated for years on Kanye's preferences, but it's only now that Kanye has addressed them." After years of people wanting him to speak out on it, Kanye finally did in a post he made on Twitter. In his tweet, he said, "This song is called Cousin, about my cousin that's locked away for life for ending someone. My name is Kanye and I had my cousin till I was 14. Tweet sent. This caused an absolutely immense amount of speculation and has caused everyone to go crazy. People are wondering if he's being legit or if he just made it up for attention. Some fans are saying they believe it's true, and they're saying he's saying it in a sarcastic tone in order to feel less embarrassed about telling everybody. Ever since the tweet was posted, Kanye has not addressed it again, and it seems likely that he won't do so ever again. But who knows? Since it's gone so viral and even celebrities are talking about it, maybe he will address it once more and confirm all of the details to all of his fans. People online are talking about this nonstop to share their views on this. One fan said, "While I appreciate Kanye's willingness to be open about his life, life. This tweet feels incredibly vague and almost designed to provoke a reaction rather than share anything meaningful. Another fan said, "The internet going wild over this is completely predictable. Kanye knows how to get people talking. Whether this story about his cousin is entirely true or embellished, it's definitely working to keep him in the headlines." And finally, one more fan said, "The way he just drops it and then says tweet sent feels so performative and attention-seeking. It's hard to take anything he says seriously anymore. I just don't believe anything that he says." So there we have it. Kanye has yet again caused a huge stir and has made everybody want to talk about him yet again. For this video's comment question, do you believe Kanye? Before you go, be sure to give this video.
I tell you, shenanigans after shenanigans after shenanigans. Well, you see, I tell you, you know,
I'm gonna say
let y'all have it. I'm gonna let y'all have it.
I'm gonna say this.
I'm in that too. Go ahead.
I see I see that his understanding of what he quote unquote had at 14 may be skewed. I see that he has a issue and is probably trying to come to terms with being assaulted as a child and just blurting things out. Because I could say this, I was one of those people. To make people feel uncomfortable, I would blurt things out, not knowing that the problem was with me and not letting everyone know I had an issue, because I had an issue. But me thinking that if I let everybody know that I had an issue, then I had an issue, right? But he is at a different caliber than I am. I'm telling 5 little people, like, here's just my issue. He's telling 1 billion people, hey, here's my issue. And 1 billion people, none of them are going to help you. All of them are going to make fun of you. All of them are going to be like, oh, so yeah, we knew you were this and you knew you did that. But if I don't know, if he was mistreated as a child, his action, I don't know. But all I could say is this may be a cry from being mistreated as a child and now trying to take accountability, like, oh yeah, no, I did it, but not understanding that you were mistreated as a child. So you continued on a broken pattern and you're still continuing this broken pattern in a different way. So sorry, Kanye, you need big time therapy.
Yeah. First of all, I'm sick to my stomach, and it's so multi-layered because I don't like sexual abuse of children. Then again, the way I was raised at 14, you're no longer a child. But then I realized, you know, my upbringing was different. Growing up in Brooklyn in the 80s, you know, we were forced to grow up fast. So at 14, because I hear a lot of these men talk about they were sexually abused by men at 14. I'm so thankful for my father and my uncles and people being afraid of my father to even try something like that, you know, children or adults. And I'm thankful that's not my experience. And I don't want to minimize Kanye's experience because I can imagine that got to be traumatizing. You know, that really has to be a traumatic experience and not have a proper outlet to work through that, whether it's true or not. Mental health in our community is real. And when you have a society that now celebrates that lifestyle, in his mind, I can only imagine what's wrong with me telling my truth. You know, his cousins, let's say all of this is true. His cousin's locked up, never coming home again, so he don't have to face his cousin, yet he still has to deal with it. I would think you would go to therapy with that as opposed to X, Twitter, whatever we want to call that platform. However, sexual abuse in our community is a real thing. I say that part one. The other layer to that is this is Kanye, somebody you know who I respect because he literally lived his dreams. And I encourage everybody to do your best to live your dreams. But this is what happens when we don't deal with our trauma and we pursue our dreams. Granted, we can hit our goal, we can hit our target. However, we're bringing that garbage with us if we don't deal with it and unpack it and leave it behind. So here it is now, is spread it to the world. Like I said, I was literally sick to my stomach because I don't like that stuff. And it's a reality. And I'm perplexed in my emotions because people are ridiculing him for being victimized as a child. And that's why it's hard for people to tell their truth. Even when people say, yo, tell the truth and shame the devil, you got to tell your truth. You got to tell your truth. And when people tell you the truth, you get ridiculed. But as Sister Marcia just said, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place for everything. There's nothing wrong with telling your truth, but it's who you tell it to and when you tell it, because some people don't want to help you. Some people want to take your truth and weaponize it against you, which is why our people really don't come and be honest about being assaulted and molested and things like that. Because, raising children, now that my children are grown, they get it why I was so protective of them, because there's such nasty evil out here. I mean, we still dealing with child abduction and trafficking and all kind of stuff. Like, this is a reality. However, when you have a certain level of influence, you got to understand you also have a certain level of power, and you got to wield that power responsibly. So I don't beat Kanye up. I think that was the wrong place, and I hope he's kidding, but then part of me hope he's not, because that's no joking matter.
So
it happened. Go ahead, Sister Marcia.
I just want to say, like, should it be true that this happens to him? This happened to him. And you say that he is a quote unquote celebrity and he has affluence and stuff like that. He doesn't understand this. He still hasn't come to terms with the trauma that happened to him. And at that, even if you're going to therapy like I have, when you're in these white therapy places, or even with a Black therapist, these people are reading from a white manuscript. They don't consciously understand how to help you go through things. What they consciously do is, yes, let's talk about it. And how did that make you feel? They're not helping you explore the deeper meaning of it and help you, create that boundary system that you need so that you can be that voice, that leader, this anything. All you see is continuing to hurt people with your words. He's just hurt millions of people with his words because he's still hurt inside. And whether he is or is not in therapy, most counselors, whether white or Black, have all been educated through a white system there are very few African counseling systems out here. And us Black people need to really look for great African counseling systems, because these white ones will just have you talking that shit over and over and over again and re-traumatizing yourself. And he just is re-traumatizing himself and including the whole world with him because he has that platform.
I would say this. I agree with you. In addition, I won't say but or however, in addition to what you stated, Kanye does have the money to get the best. He can probably get the second Dr. Amos Wilson, or the second Dr. Patricia Newton, or the second Dr. Francis. We don't want him to go on with Dr. Sukiyana. Dr. Sukiyana needs counseling. Mental health illness is real in our community. And, my heart cries out for Kanye, because I get it. He's human. He's not infallible. However, the trauma that he was subjected to, because he even had to come to grips with his mother moving him away from his father. Part of that's removing a layer of protection from him. He didn't want to stay in Chicago. And from what I understand from the brothers within the community here in New York, the elders, Kanye's father was in the consciousness. That's why he has his name Kanye. Remember, his mama was a doctor. So it wasn't like he was raised by a welfare mother, But again, with Willie Lynch working overtime in our community, the divide of the family has always been part of the goal, to destroy what is essentially our superpower. And so many books, they talk about how we always leaned on our family. That's how we got through slavery. That's how we got through our enslavement, by us having a community. And they realized that was a great punishment. Oh, I can beat you, I can starve you, I can lynch you, and I still can't break your spirit. I know it'll break your spirit. I'll split the family up. I'll sell the husband off. I'll sell the daughter. I'll sell the father. And so here we are, fast forward to 2025. We're still trying to put our families together. What do Black folks talk about? Black men and women outside of this podcast, because we got a sophisticated audience. They're always talking about male-female relationship. Why Black men this? Why Black women that? And we can't go 50-50, and we better go 50-50, and all that. Come on, man. That's not reality. And I realize this is European ideas being implanted in our mind, and we're acting this foolishness out because we have not created an internal monologue with ourselves based on what our immediate ancestors have taught us, meaning our grandparents and great-grandparents, because some of these grandparents of this new generation is out their goddamn mind. If I say so, my goddamn self, these people.
And they be crazy. Our generation. It be Gen X.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said
all of us. It be all of us that be.
But we really have to tap into ourselves, and not to be the bad horse, but this is why I will always bring it back to FBA, Foundational Black Americans, because I don't care what nobody say. In this society, in the United States of America, Black people have always been the moral fabric and fiber of this country, even with the likes and life of Dr. King, who said you have to live up to the shit you say you about. Absolutely. Dr. King challenged them. Absolutely. Harriet challenged them. Frederick Douglass, all of our great, the Right Reverend Nat Turner challenged them to live up to what you say you are. That's why Frederick Douglass said your boasted liberty is a sham. So other Black, I'm speaking about Black folks, so diasporan Black folks come to this country because what it looks like, but who made it that way? Only for people to come here and shun us because we still stand strong in our identity of who we are, because people who are outsiders and foreigners come here trying to mix and fit in, and they start taking on the negative behaviors of what is sold to them through media. And foundational Black Americans like, nah, my dude. I remember the first time I heard an African person use the N-word. It didn't even sound right. He didn't even have the, you know what I mean? I'm from Brooklyn, so we know how to say it with a little flair. And we know that.
My nigga. That's how you say nigga.
Yeah.
My nigga.
What you talking about, my nigga? I'm like, nah, my nigga. You saying my nigga. Like, and I had to purge myself at one time from saying it, and I'm working on purging it again, because I'm realizing that we are dealing with a lot of N-words. We're surrounded by them, and they're proud to be. They are proud to be. Now, I know at times we use it as a term of endearment. You got to know your audience when you're speaking to people. Just know your audience, because some people don't look at you as a brother. You could be like my brother, and he ain't like, you ain't my, you're like, nigga, you ain't my brother. With a V, my brother. You ain't my brother. So we have to be aware of our surroundings. But I say that because this is the thing we're fighting. This is the poltergeist we're fighting. This is the evil spirit we're fighting. A lot of times we say this war isn't physical, it's spiritual, and it is. It's all in control of our mind and our spirit, because we see Shannon Sharp acting the goddamn fool, frolicking with the devil's maiden.
Let's not only talk about Shannon Sharp and his frolic.
No, I'm just saying he's the most recent. He's not new. This is nothing new.
No. I want to talk about also the sister Tracy Ellis Ross, who said, I want a baby. So maybe them two should get together.
No.
Because I'm not saying they should, but I know
what you're saying. I'm just saying. No.
If two people of their same age bracket are looking for children to mate with or to have as conquests, there's a serious problem, because
they should have did like me.
They have the money. right? Like Kanye has the money to do better. They have the money to do better, but yet they're all looking for children or to act like children. So when we talk about arrested development in our community, there is a huge arrested development because you can't be 60 and you want to mate with someone younger. And granted, the sister did not say how young the person had to be. However, we do know that the brother said, or the brother did go for a 19 or 18-year-old at the time that they began their conquest. And then we have a brother, Kanye, who is reverting back to 14-year-old self, talking about, oh my God, this one, me and my I'm absolutely not. There is a huge cognitive development that is not happening amongst us all. You know, some people may have gotten assistance. Some people may have been able to, you know, have the cultural assistance that is needed. But most people are going to the Western system for assistance, and that is a problem. And we need to acknowledge it. And it is sad that people aren't, you know, going to have the advantage of having Sister Patricia to help you have that dialogue with yourself, help you do that process of going deeper within versus doing that talk therapy that the Western people tell you to do, or having conversations with great elders who definitely have a better understanding of the psychological times that we were living in, because there are not many.
Sis, I'm gonna say this, and I'm in agreement with you, and I'm gonna add to it because what you said is true. In addition, though, I will say this: we do have competent Black therapists. In fact, and it's a shameless plug, but shout out to my baby Tati, who's graduating next month to get a master's, because she's already a therapist, but she'll be soon a licensed practicing therapist. And my baby Kayla, who's graduating in June, graduating high school, she says she's going to go to Temple University. She was looking at Virginia State, but she's going to Temple because she's going to be an art therapist. The influence of therapy came from Daddy. Daddy read Dr. Amos Wilson to them as children, and then I let them read the book themselves. 2 books that I've read to them and let them read: Developmental Psychology of the Black Child and Awaken the Natural Genius in African Children. Very powerful books. Not to mention the book I've read that had me start my youth group, Party Parents Actively Reclaiming Their Youth. The book was Understanding Black on Black Male Adolescent Violence. We have the information. We have the literature. We just have to apply it. And there are great Black therapists out here. I don't want our folks to get discouraged, because when we say African too now, when we say African, and I believe Dr. Amos was kind of critical about this, not of African people, but just stepping outside of your own self. Stepping outside of your own personal experience. As I've said on these platforms before, I said it on Doggy Diamond Show, I said it on this platform. I've been the only person in my family in generations and hundreds of years, centuries, that literally stepped foot on the continent of Africa. See, if I go to Africa looking for a solution for a problem I'm having in America, I'm just being subservient to another group of people. But when I study the workings of Dr. Amos Wilson, who's a foundational Black American, we can deal with the reality of the problem on what it really is, because white supremacy doesn't operate the same on the continent as it does here. And it doesn't operate the same in New York City as it does in the Deep South. So we got to really deal with where we are and what it really is that we're dealing with. I look at Kanye and say 14. I remember when I was 14, that's when I started getting my stripes in the Brooklyn streets at 14 years old. That's serious. I started going to Staten Island by myself at 12 and 13 years old, hanging out in Park Hill Projects. You know, I was going to the Bronx by myself at 14 years old. But a lot of these dudes, whether it's Kanye,
we won't hold that against you,
or your favorite YouTubers, a lot of these dudes who say they were sexual molested was at 14. Now, 14 is your rites of passage. That's about the age where you transition to manhood, between 12 and 14. That's why, you know, the small hats do all of their stuff at 12, 13, you become a man, because but their manhood was interrupted because their brain is still developing. And this is something we really got to look at and examine. But if this stuff isn't happening in other places outside of the US, how can we really deal with it? Because a part of me think that Kanye has an affinity for his cousin, knowing that he possibly may never see him again. Because it's you know that Stockholm syndrome. Yes, that Stockholm syndrome where you identify with your abuser.
Yeah. And that's all he's going through. You know, he is like, oh man, that was my big homie. He taught me the ropes, so to say. If allegedly, let me back myself up. But the thing is, we are in agreement, right? The thing is, I want our community to be aware of not to get stuck into talk therapy. Because when I started therapy in my 20s, I found it a joke. Because all the lady wanted to ask me was, well, how did it feel? What are you talking about? How did it feel? What are you talking about? My body is going through so much trauma, and you're asking me, how did it feel? I'm sorry, that is not the appropriate way to assist someone.
But
given that I've gone through different stages of work self-development, I understand that these there are beginner stages of how did it feel and how did that make you feel, and there are how do you develop from this stage. And unfortunately, what I've seen, even when I've kicked many counselors off of Jaquan's case for the mere fact of it's how you feel versus how can we help you develop. And that's a super different question. That's a super different analogy. And I love that your children are going through this and going to use their African eyes to help people to understand their deeper self. But I want our family, whoever comes on this line, to understand that there is talk therapy and there's development therapy. Two different types of therapies.
Yes, and I was gonna say that because a lot of this isn't about development, because self-development is a personal journey, because you have to identify who you want to be first. And most people haven't mustered up the courage to be themselves. They don't know their purpose. They don't know who they're born to be. This is why so many people are followers. Somebody asked me a question at work the other day. Had a tranny come in. Fake everything. My coworker was like, female, nice person, naive to an extent. Said, she looks good, don't she? Don't she? I said, nah, not really, not to me. She's like, but could you tell us a man? I said, yes. She said, really, how? I said, because where I'm from, the way I was raised, is people that look like that are one of two things. You're either a transvestite or a prostitute. And both of them ain't no good to me. The big lashes, the super big BBL, the super big hooters. Now, me as a man, I recognize man hands and man feet when I see them. I don't care how much makeup you put on. As Orange Juice Jones said in the prolific movie Juice, just because you pour syrup on shit don't make it pancakes. Just because a man put on a wig and makeup don't make him a woman. I'm sorry. And as a man, I can see one. Or you just an ugly chick. You like, girl, you look exactly like your daddy. Too much like your daddy, you know? But again, this is people not being who they naturally are, not having that internal monologue saying, I don't agree with this lifestyle because my foundation of my moral value system and how I was raised taught me to reject this behavior because this leads to this. Men now dating quote unquote transgenders, in essence, makes you a homosexual. Why? You know this woman cannot produce children for you. You know this woman cannot produce milk for any child you may adopt and act like y'all really got a family like that. This so-called woman does not have menstrual cycles, feminine, you know, they may act effeminate, but they don't have that estrogen and you know those pheromones that leak from women that masculine men could just sense from a woman. When I see a lot of these trannies, I'm be honest, I smell must under that perfume. I smell testosterone. I'm for real. It's weird. You know, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I want to welcome my brother Blacksmith to the bridge.
What up, brother Anunnaki?
On that note, what do you want me to say after that, man?
I want you to talk about the
Pope is dead.
You DMX dropping the mic on me after you made the whole audience cry. Come on, man. Well, how about come on after that? Yo, pass it to somebody else. I get it back from them.
Oh man. Ooh, Sister Keisha, I say anything wrong?
The real talk, all right, y'all. Sorry I'm late, but I had a prior engagement and it just finished, so I came in. Peace to the panel. I'm listening, I'm learning, because I came in when y'all was midway through something, so I'm not gonna break that up. I don't know the essence. Kanye or
Kanye, Shannon, all.
Oh man, loaded topics already.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, just to keep it brief, I love Kanye because regardless of who any say what, he is him, and I respect that. As far as Shannon, we seen it coming. He was marked as soon as he let Cat Williams go off. Just like the same thing with Arsenio Hall and Farrakhan go crazy on this show. So once you see those type of things, okay, it's only they slept on him to give him a year and a half. I was surprised. I was like Shannon, and he already had a few controversies last year. So now this one, and it's been revealed. I don't know if you heard. I think I heard it yesterday that before she went public, he tried to pay her $10 million to keep it quiet. So he ain't looking too good because that's the same move Diddy did with Cassie. So.
Right. Brother Black said this like maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago, that this cat was already gone. But, sometimes you gotta let things muddy the waters, right? So because he already get shadow banned for everything anyway, as it is. So, no, it's for real. Yeah. So, I want to play this clip, then we'll come back with Brother Black and his comments. Hold on, family. Here we go.
So Pope Francis has just died on Easter Monday at the age of 88. Or did he? I have found a lot with this one. So sit back, relax, get your snacks. We're going down the rabbit hole. First, let's start with Archbishop Carlo, who actually got excommunicated from the church last year. And in this video in February, he speculates that the Pope may have been deceased already. And then there's this video from 2021.
Festive address focused on his prayers for the pandemic to come to an end. He said vaccines should be made available to those most in need. His death was announced. Excuse me.
Wait, hold up. Did she just announce his death prematurely? I mean, that face says it all. Then let's move on to JD Vance, who actually met him a day before he passed. And he says, I met with the Holy Father, Pope Francis. I am grateful for his invitation to meet, and I pray for his good health. Almost like he knew something, right? That same day, Trump posts this. He said, the golden rule of negotiation and success. He who has the gold makes the rules. Thank you. Then right after that, then this happens. Gold surpasses its all-time high of 33.84. Now, the fact that the Vatican has a ton of gold, is this a way of Trump saying, hey, that's mine now? Now, being that the Pope died at 88 and 8 being the number of wealth, is this a changing of the guard, so to speak? Which it could be, because why did the Pope die on Queen Elizabeth's birthday? So that's not weird. Now, speaking of rabbit holes and Easter, Trump was actually visited by this brown rabbit at the White House instead of the traditional white rabbit that you would follow. Now, this is where it really gets spooky. So I decided to follow this brown rabbit and typed in Rabbit Trump in Google, right? And the first link that I got says 88 Trump Easter Bunny stock photos. Now, who just died at the age of 88? I am officially convinced that we're living in a simulation. And the cherry on top, the same day, the World Economic Forum's chairman and founder, Klaus Schwab, steps down immediately. If this doesn't signify a brand new day to you, I don't know what will. I'm doing a part 2 to this because there's a lot more to unpack. So make sure you guys hit up my Instagram subscription because I'm going to drop it in there. Now, what?
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun. I get Brother Blacksmith back on the bridge. Brother Blacksmith, you already told us like, how many years ago? But let me get off my soapbox. Go ahead, brother.
Well, yeah, I remember when, I believe you showed it on that show too. When I told you he disappeared in that window, when he turned around, and it was a wide shot, so you could definitely look in. And if anything, he should have disappeared in 2 or 3 steps. He disappeared as soon as he turned around, pretty much, and took a step. And he's wearing white, so it's not like he faded to black. You know what I'm saying? And amongst that, but. If y'all saw my, it wasn't my last, maybe the next to last post, I said the pimp been dead, and I spelled it P-I-M-P, as 50 would in his song. And in that article, what I posited was that, on the title picture, I had the picture with Trump looking like he just, stole 50 billion from a gold reserve or something like that, because when he got overseas, this is when he went to Arabia too, and he held on to the sword that only the king can touch, and whoever's the heir apparent to that, nobody else can touch that. And he touched that thing, meaning he took over, because we have to understand something. The Saudi Arabian Saudi Arabia is one of the only countries that has their own dollar printing press. Because remember, they back those billionaires over there, so they have permission to have their own printing press. That is the dollar printing press. So when he went to Saudi Arabia, then he went to the Vatican, and that's when he presented the Pope with that with the evidence that of Pizzagate and all the other things, because that's where it's ran from. All of us are members of the Catholic Church in lieu of having a birth certificate and a social security card, which is registered to the Vatican banks, which trade stocks on Wall Street. All of us, I don't care who you are, unless you're sovereign. And Trump is sovereign. So he's outside of all of that. And this was, in my way of looking at things, the last cornerstone of the old world power, or the powers that were. And with that, I yield back to you, Sister Keisha.
Wow. It's just funny how things come full circle, and we shall see. Allegedly, they're looking at the African dude, the African priest, whatever the hell y'all call him, to be the final one. But we shall see what happens. But stay tuned.
Well, why does it always end with
one second? And just so y'all can stay abreast, you can follow Brother Blacksmith, Elias Flavius, or Flavius Jones on Facebook, and you can read his blogs where he can give you more detailed information. Sorry, Marcia, go ahead.
What I was saying is, why does it always end with black, right? So Black people begin time, Black people end time, everything is with Black, so whatever. And did we hear about the African brother that went to the Vatican to pay his respect and was ushered out the door? It's very interesting. I grew up a Catholic, so I definitely, I don't have those same elders anymore, but there was times when you had elders crying for the Pope. I don't have those same elders. That connection with the Pope is not the same, but it's very interesting how they regard this person as the beginning of time, and not even look at their own kin as the beginning of time. So it's very interesting how we are religiously brainwashed into thinking that everything starts with a particular place or time in whatever religion that you're in. But good luck to them. Thank you, Bat.
Yes, thank you for that. Peace. And but we're gonna move on. Go ahead, Brother Black. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said thank y'all back. That's all. Go ahead, Sister Keisha. You got it.
All right. So, we posted a video of Sister Brooke last week. Hold on. Before we get into that, because this is gonna lead y'all into Sunday with the OG Wisdom podcast. So I'm just giving y'all the leeway here. We're gonna start here, end up on Sunday on OG Wisdom podcast. But I want to play this video because I found it very interesting. I've seen the video before, but me and Brother Tab was chatting the other day, and it just reminded me of something that my aunt said. So we'll play this clip, and we'll come right back, and we'll play the clip of my aunt confirming what this indigenous person is saying. Hold on.
All the tribes in Virginia in the early 1900s were referred to as colored, okay? Then after the 1924 Racial Integrity Act, everything that was in that colored bowl became Negro, okay? And that's one of the reasons why in 1968, the Supreme Court overthrew that Racial Integrity Act and gave Native Americans the right, if they were born before July 1960, to come forward to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and correct those records that had been changed.
But now your tribe was in Southampton County. Well before all of this.
Of course.
Okay.
Basically, all the tribes in Virginia in the early 1900s were referred to as colored, okay? Then after the 1924 Racial Integrity Act, everything that was in that colored bowl became Negro, okay? And that's one of.
So, let me remove that. I was listening to that, and then I remembered an interview that I gave my family members, right? On our family lineage. So, my aunt pretty much said the same thing. How, Native tribes were all lumped in with everybody. And, after that, then you had the 70s Black Power movement, everybody was black. And then you had Jesse Jackson come back and reinvigorate the word African. And so they threw, African American on it. But I want to play this clip. Give me 1 second. Y'all can see it in queue. Yeah. Of an interview that I did with my cousin and my aunt. You got to go to the elders in your family, get the details. And I do just that.
Hey, Sister Keisha, real quick. For the first 5 seconds, I thought that was Reverend Run.
No, that's OG Hop right there. Hold on. Here we go. Play this clip and we'll come right back.
No volume.
Can y'all hear it? No.
I think Dragon knows because
Barely now, though.
Yeah, you ask Dragon. Yeah. We part of the.
But my nana's had cousins years ago. My nana had cousins that lived on that reservation out there in Long Island. But they
Shinnecock.
Yeah, but I don't think they because it was but you know how they did all black people are. Don't matter if you're from Jamaica or New York. Black is black. So Indian is Indian. So
because I didn't know it was originated out of Long Island.
So pretty much she confirmed what the chief was saying, how they were all lumped up and grouped into one politically for political reasons, right? So now, and it really disturbs me. It disturbs me because since we are re-identifying ourselves, the biggest pushback is come from not from Black people of the Americas, but Black people abroad. And so last week, I posted the video of Sister Brooke and Brother Divine. You know, I played it for y'all last week. And let me see. Sister Brooke's video has now gotten 17,000 views. And she talked about, and y'all remember, I played it last week. Y'all remember what she said about who's going to speak up for us. The reason why this video has gone viral on TikTok, and we only been on TikTok for like 3 weeks. But anyway, it's because there has been so much negativity against Black people of the Americas from people abroad. Now, it's videos like this that is going viral on TikTok, especially, and Instagram. I'm gonna play this and we'll come right back and we'll discuss it. Hold on.
True Black Africans and African Americans do not claim Black Americans. We are not the same. African tends to focus on progress, family values, and community upliftment rather than dwelling on historical grievances. They prioritize education and hard work. They don't live life blaming the white man for all their failures, challenges, or the choices that they make. Many Africans strive to give their children better opportunities and instill values like hard work and responsibilities. They don't raise their kids to hate the white man and blame them for all of their problems. That's why they can't grow. Africans are hard workers and they work on self-improvement. They hold themselves accountable for their actions instead of making everything about race and blaming the system. True Africans do not celebrate when a white kid loses his life to a Black kid. The decent Black Americans out there, we claim you, we see you, and we love you. Thank you for being a decent human being. True Black.
I don't need your approval, miss. You don't got to play me.
Hey, you know who should marry her? Ramarley Griffin's father.
Ramarley Graham?
Sorry. Yes, sir. My bad. I said the wrong name.
Sorry.
Hold on, because before I want y'all to see that it's not just one thing. All right, let me play this.
You from South Africa, right?
Okay, educate me then. What is it? What is it?
No, I'm not educating. You should have did that before you had an attitude and emotion. You from South Africa?
I've never had an attitude. I don't have an attitude towards men. I don't care about.
You got upset because somebody called you an African booty scratcher when you was in junior high school.
No one called me that. You call other people that. If an African American were to call me that, I'd kick you here.
Bro, you can't fight. What's talking about? You can't fight. What are you talking about? Where are you in South Africa?
I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Why you had to move? Like, what? I'm not understanding. So, what are you?
I'm at home. Like you thought you were gonna see a jungle or something?
It sounds dumb. Like, why would I think I'm gonna see a jungle?
Because that's what you guys have been saying all along, like online that you live in the jungle.
So again, these type of things are happening on social media, and all of the pushback is coming from folks who are not from here. Even those who are in agreement with us. I feel it's your responsibility to educate your folks. That's your job. Just like it's our job to educate our folks when they start making broad and ridiculous comments about you.
But
right? Now, hold on. The two folks from Africa, let me make this perfectly clear. And y'all can Google it, because I know y'all like Google. Y'all can chat GPT or DeepSeek or whatever the hell you want to. Put in there the significant role that Black American college students played in ending apartheid. How do I know? Because I was a part of it. We were the ones who forced corporations to divest. In fact, it was so prevalent. All of y'all who watched The Cosby Show and A Different World, how many episodes do you remember of them engaging about what was happening on the continent, in particular South Africa? Bringing on people like Miriam Makeba, having whole episodes on A Different World about South Africa, and that's because the Black Student Union here, for those of y'all who didn't go to college, we ain't talking to you. For all of us of the Black Student Union, we made it happen, period. And all of your search engines will tell you that. So again, back then when I was saying Pan-Africanism is freaking flawed, It cannot be one group lifting the bell for everybody. But we're no longer lifting the bell for everybody. We're shaking everybody off of our shoulders and saying, stand 10 toes down on your own. The female who was talking said that, like Garvey said, they have no race consciousness. So she can let white folks do whatever they want to her. That's why you fled from where you came from. Where was that hard work ethic over there? Where was this bravado over there? You ran like the sucker you are. We're suckers. We don't flee in mass, no goddamn where. We stand 10 toes down against this beast here. In fact, your leaders said they followed ours. Period. I don't care if you look at Robert Mugabe. I don't care if you look at Kwame Nkrumah. I don't care if you look at Stephen Biko. I don't care if you look at Jomo Kenyatta. Go down the list. Read their memoirs. I ain't telling y'all no lies. None. But it's so rampant, especially on TikTok, that I'm so glad we got young folks like Adonis, even though, sometimes he may come off because he's young, but they are giving these people exactly what they're looking for. And I've had enough. Now, Black people who rock with the four of us here, you'll be surprised at the BS that they talking. Why? Because we self-identify? Because we say you can no longer co-opt our culture anymore? You said we need to clean ourselves up. Well, goddamn it, we doing it. And we start with you. Brother Ted? Go ahead.
No, I agree 100%, sister. And like you said, definitely thankful for our young people, Sister Brooke, Brother Divine, Brother Cash. I can't wait till the audience could get the full effect of those three dynamic young people. I mean, they already got a taste of Sister Brooke, and we had Brother Divine. Now we got to get Brother Cash on here. And I'll tell you, when we get all three of them on here, we just going to let them rock out, because to Sister Keisha's point, there's people that we've rocked with for years that's been in the quote unquote conscious African-centered movement, and they're acting as if we're the enemies now because we're practicing self-determination, because we see the resistance we're getting. Because when we were in the reparations hearing a couple of Thursdays ago, we were getting resistance from our Latino brothers and sisters and our CARICOM community. Now, all we're saying is, don't come to my house and talk crap about my house when you literally lived in a shithole. All right? Don't sit here and be disrespectful, because as Sister Keisha said, we always advocating for other groups of Black people, regardless of who you are. But for some reason, once you get in a position or you think you got $2 over lunch money, you think you better than us. For the African sister who said, they don't have problem with white people, but that's why your country is in shambles, and that's why you had to flee. But until people deal with the reality of what you're afraid to confront, you're always going to be running. Black Americans, we ain't got nowhere to run. Some people went to Ghana. Some people didn't feel welcome in Ghana. Some people found their niche. There's good and bad people everywhere, all over the planet. But unfortunately, people are coming into the house that we built, that Black Americans literally built. And then you talk shit. But when you get here, you cosplay, because you're not moving to Bensonhurst. You're not moving out to where all the white folks is. You're not moving out to Old Mill Basin. You moving to Crown Heights. You moving to Flatbush. You moving to Bed-Stuy. You moving where we were already established and situated. You cosplay us a little while, because you ain't coming with the costume you wore back home. You start trying to dress like us. And then as soon as you get accepted and a couple of more of your brothers and sisters come, you get disrespectful. And then to the brothers and sisters who've been here for a while, who've been in the movement, they straight suckers and punks, because they forego their own identity to adopt a foreign identity. I'm African. I have African ancestry. I could trace the first Cromwell to the continent of Africa, right? But that's one part of my story. As it's been stated before, we went through an ethnogenesis. Many of us have African and indigenous bloodlines, and a touch of European, whether it was voluntary or forced through grape. We are not a monolithic people. And we love to say that, but when people who know who they are practice self-determination, everybody get mad as if we're wrong. Oh, you're not Pan-African no more. You're not Pan-African no more. This is part of Pan-Africanism. The black people here in America, we fighting for our part. But if you want to draw a line in the sand, sucker, I'm standing on my side. I'm standing with my team. Because from my understanding, Pan-African is black people around the world, not just people in Africa. And as Sister Keisha stated, the boy Jesse Jackson came with this whole African American thing. Because just like with Sister Keisha family, I think I stated this years ago, I saw the birth certificate, and I'm gonna share this with y'all if y'all haven't heard the story. I looked at my great-grandmother's birth certificate, my grandmother's birth certificate, my mother's birth, and my birth certificate. My great-grandmother's birth certificate, who I knew, I could tell you her phone number was 857-6141. That's back when New York had the 212 number. That was one of the first numbers I remember. She lived downstairs. She was a Native American. It's on her birth certificate. I saw her birth certificate. Then my grandmother was Negro. My grandmother's birth certificate said Negro. My mother said colored. Mine said black. My children's said African American. Each generation, they changed our status. Each generation. But then again, when we talk about colored just meant non-white people, because yellow people, aka Asians, was considered colored. Brown people, aka Mexicans, was considered colored. Red people, aka Indians, Native Americans, whatever you want to call them, considered color. And then African people / black people considered color. But here in America, we have a hodgepodge of different bloodlines. And I told you, did the math before. It takes at least 100 people to make one you. You think all them people came from one particular place? But that's when we buy into the myth. When we buy into the idea of Pan-Africanism. Because remember, Garvey, one of the fathers of Pan-Africanism, one of the fathers, because we all know he didn't create the term Pan-Africanism, but he was very, very adamant in the position of Pan-Africanism. He came to America. He didn't go to Africa. And he said he couldn't do it in Jamaica because y'all Caribbean people don't even have black consciousness. That's what Garvey said, not me, not Brother Tad. Garvey said that. So don't argue with me, argue with Garvey. My point is, as a black American, a person who gave the world its culture, swag, coolness, fashion, language. Because nobody's saying bootylicious. So Snoop Dogg said it. Snoop Dogg is a foundational black American. Beyonce popularized it. All the slang, all the hip hop, all the jazz, all the gospel, all the blues, all the bluegrass. Even reggae artists said they got their influence from us. Said listening to the black American music from the South. This is prior to reggae. We are very influential, right? And we said, no more are we going to let people disrespect us in our house. Now, if you want to sit on your island, if you want to sit in your bushes in your country, and I'm just being facetious when I say this, because I love black people. I just don't like disrespectful people. I don't care what color you are. If you want to talk shit from me from the comforts of your own home, then fine. But don't come to my house and talk shit about me, because now you're going to have a problem. And even if you're a Johnny come lately, if you're a first generation American and your parents from the Caribbean, don't try to beat me in the head like I'm wrong for standing 10 toes down or what I know I'm right. Because if you feel I'm wrong, then take your ass back home. Pack up your whole family and go back to Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad, Grenada, wherever you're from. Pack them up then. But don't come here talking shit about my house. We're not going to tolerate that. Because for too long, and I'm be honest, and I'm going to pass the mic to Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith, to whoever wants the mic. For too long, we as black people in America, when Amadou Diallo got deleted, black folks was on the front line. When Ramarley Graham got touched up, black Americans was on the front line. When Nelson Mandela came here, black folks was on the front line. But when black people get hurt and deleted in these streets, nobody stands with us. Nobody. And I'm not talking about the one or two handful that got knowledge itself. You know, like Brother Black and Sister Marcia, you know what I'm saying? We talking about collective as communities. They don't stand with us. And that's a problem. Why black Americans got to be more African than continental Africans? We got the United African Movement. We got the African Village. You got the African this, African that. But you can't get a Liberian or a Nigerian to come stand with us about nothing. Like somebody told black women. Because if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
No, brother, you write an exact piece, God. 7. Real talk. What pained me about the sister in particular, the dude, they were arguing and they're gonna just go at each other. So I didn't really take that seriously. But the lady that spoke out, it pains me to believe that rant was inspired by Carmelo Anthony murking the white dude.
Right.
And she wasn't there, and I'm sure she heard no witness testimony, and you caping for a white dude, and you don't know the whole story yet because it hasn't even gone to trial.
Right.
As little as the Anthony family has said, for me, they said too much already. Anything you say can and will be held against you. Stop talking. I'm done.
Sister Brooke, I see you in the chat. Did you get our message? They want us on the OG Wisdom podcast, so check out the message. Anyway, I know you work nights now, but anyway, let me keep moving. So, again, in these, especially TikTok, it's real heavy. People are talking, but they not listening. You see? People were talking about Nelson Mandela. And I think this was on Adonis's Live. But they were talking about Nelson Mandela. And so I put in the chat, a couple of people put in the chat what really went on. Because some of us was in it. So we know what really went on. But then, I sent the clip of this, hoping, they'll be able to squeeze it in. But they didn't have a chance to. But even Dr. Khaled had the G check, this type of attitude. I'm going to play this clip and we'll come right back. Hold on.
Mr. Mandela, what do you think of the problems of the suffering of black people, Africans here in America? He said, I did not come here to get involved in the internal affairs of America. What the hell do you mean, Nelson Mandela? We've fought for you for 27 years to get your raggedy, rusty, dusty behind out of prison and apply pressure on the no-good South African devil government. And you come to America and say that you didn't come to get involved in the internal affairs of America. You can't speak up for us, nigga. When he threw a fist in the air, say this. They tell her, don't do this, Winnie. Don't you go there where they have the hunger strike with the unions and the mines and those who are striking to free all of the political prisoners. Next thing you know, Winnie is right there with her combat boots on and a military fatigues on. Not Nelson, Winnie. Winnie was the one had them putting them tires around the Uncle Tom's neck and setting them on fire. Killed them Uncle Toms. And the ANC repudiated her. And Nelson Mandela had some cool things to say about her when he was in prison. She's a revolutionary. I don't care if it's a woman or a man. I just want to be free. I'll follow a black man. I'll follow a black woman. I just want to be free. I'd follow Winnie before I would Mandela if I had to.
Had to play that clip. And true to fact, when Dr. Fillet had the MWM Million Women March, what she said right here? What she said? When he didn't say, I'm not going to come and support my sisters. Are you crazy? Somebody send that clip to Charleston White, since he claimed he won't follow a black woman nowhere. We won't follow your caca because you can't even see. So we won't be following you nowhere. But anyway.
Sister Keisha, can I let me just add one thing real quick.
Y'all to be on code. We need y'all to be on code. And if you're not on code, we will destroy you. We will destroy you. When we talk about co-opting our culture, we mean just that. We created all these genres of music. I watched the interview with Buju Banton on Drink Champs. And he was ticked off with Afrobeat artists, saying you cannot steal a genre of music and co-opt it for your own. It ain't just reggae they co-opted. Afrobeats was created by Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti himself, y'all like Google, y'all like ChatGPT, put that shit in there, okay? He himself said he mixed jazz, R&B and soul and the blues and made Afro beats. Look, Google it, put in Google, Fela Kuti. Did Fela Kuti say that American music, he used American music for Afro beats? However way you want to put it in there. You gonna get that goddamn answer because I know what I'm talking about. I'm a reader, not just a talker. So, yeah, we created it all. All of your modern convenience. I'm gonna come back to you, Black. Don't worry. All of your modern conveniences that you use today, we invented it. So what the hell you mean? We don't do nothing. We don't create nothing. We just complaining. No, we tired of y'all stealing. We're tired of you co-opting and being disrespectful because we don't disrespect you in that way. And it's running rampant. It's running rampant. Let this millennial, or excuse me, Gen Z, tell you, and we'll come right back with Brother Black's comment. Here we go.
I woke up from my nap and realized that I haven't worked out all day. So get ready with me, but without Black inventions. Of course, I started off by turning on the light, but it didn't work. So I had to grab my portable light. This is going to be really hard. I went to go grab my workout jacket and it was still wet. So then I went to my clothes dresser, but it wouldn't open up. So I had to grab a dirty freaking jacket that I've worn all week. I had to get past it. So I started to put my hair up and no hairbrush. My flyaways are going to go crazy. I was already getting annoyed, so I started to leave, but I couldn't lock up the house. Ugh. Honestly, I just got in my car and was so glad because, of course, all the hard work had to be over. But I had to turn the music off because I was playing R&B. And thank God I could take a right into the school because I couldn't use this traffic light and would just have to ram through these cars. Finally, I got into the school, but the elevator wouldn't open? Are we serious? I had to take the freaking stairs. When I got in the locker room, I realized that I hadn't used the restroom in a while, but you're telling me I can't use the modern toilet? At this point, I'm just hungry and want to grab a snack. But I can't? That's okay because we have my favorite snack, which is bananas and peanut butter. But I can't have peanut butter? While I was eating my banana, I realized I didn't tell my roommate that I didn't lock up the house. So I went to grab my cell phone to call her, but oh my God.
You on mute, Sister Keisha.
Put some respect on it, period. Put some respect on it. We have created things for the entire world. Where's yours at? Where your numbers at? Where your numbers at? Don't play with me, but go ahead, Brother Black. And then we'll go to Brother Tad and Sister Marcia.
Right. I just wanted to go back a little bit in regards to Dr. Khalid talking about Winnie and Nelson. And even go back a little further than that with talking about, I remember the divestment time when, like you said, Different World and the Cosby Show were popular at the peak of its popularity. And that sign, it was like a little sign that said divestment and Kente clause. Y'all remember that? There was stickers all over the place, downtown Brooklyn, in the Village, you know, and those kind of places. And then, so with that said, what I wanted to talk about Winnie and Nelson was Winnie did a documentary right before she passed away some years ago, where he said, you know, give my husband a break in his legacy because I was married to him and the man that came out that prison wasn't my husband. So I want to just say that because and about a year or two ago, I was always talking about cloning and CGI, and back then I didn't know anything about it. So if she said that, and it's on the documentary, I don't remember which one, there's so many she's in, but if it's on the documentary, then I have to believe that that wasn't really her husband, and he needs to be known as the person he was before he passed, the real one. And then with Fela, just to tag on what you said, Sister Keisha, what Fela did to make it Afro beats as opposed to contemporary African music was he based his music on the one like James Brown did. And that's why it's called Afro beat, because it's on the first beat or on the one, as they say. So when you hear that phrase on the one, that means like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start, and then the 4 is between the one. So that's where that comes from. And I yield back the mic.
Agreed. Yeah, like James Brown. Anyway, we could go crazy at y'all, because look what y'all doing over there. Look what y'all doing. I mean, African brother was about to go crazy because they ain't let him see the post body. Then you got these fools. Hold on, here we go. So y'all can keep embarrassing folks with this foolishness.
Hey, Ted went to see him last week on Sunday at the church, and then he called me Wallow. He said I was acting like Wallow after.
I'm telling you. Get off your knees, rubbing your white zaddy. Knock it off, because I got videos for days if y'all want it. So,
well, you know,
out of my TikTok comments.
You know,
foolishness, I'll bring it to you. Go ahead, Sister Marcia.
You know that is their son. That is their mercy. That is who is everything. This is who they submit to, because this is all that they know. I can say from, again, I've never been to the continent, but I definitely can parallel the way people from the continent speak and people from my home country and other Caribbean islands that I've visited speak, and they all speak the same intonation of, there is mercy in the blood of everything, and the sacrifices that you must do. I do this sacrifice for my son to, like, I sacrificed my life to come to America to give you a better life. Yet you came to America to give us a better life, and you didn't understand the plight of the people in America. So you came here, put your nose down, and grinded, right? Became part of grind culture, or created a grind culture, right? Where you ignore the oppression of the people of the land, versus sticking to your country and understanding how to rebuild your country. But because you are so busy sacrificing yourself to Christ, and you say, yeah, Christ made me move this way. It's because of Jesus I could move this way. And it's unfortunate that we are still in this pandemic of a sort. And even you, Sister Keisha, allude to the fact that they love when Black mothers are in the courthouses, or when Black mothers are places, because that is part of that sacrifice, submission ritual that they adore watching us do for our children, for that blood, not understanding the power within our own blood. To Brother Tad's point of doing self-determination. We've given up self-determination to be a part of something that is not for us. And we still can't understand it. Whether you're here, there, or anywhere globally, we have to understand that we are under a cloak, and we need to lift this veil of illusion and include ourselves into great conversations about how we can improve, how we can rebuild, because without those ancestors that gave us the doorknob, gave us the cell phone, gave us the ironing board, gave us all the things that are considered modern amenities today, we wouldn't be here. But where will we be in 50 years? Where will our grandchildren be in 100 if we don't lay down some foundations for them? And this is our time.
We'll be in the 18th dimension.
I'm ready for the
trying to make it through
23rd.
the
Thank
fifth.
you.
Here he go. He already at 18. Pray for my brother. Pray for my brother. Please pray for my brother.
White baby
No, I'm in
Jesus.
five. I'm in five
Please
right
wash
now.
away. White
Apartment
baby
5D.
Jesus, please wash away brother Blacksmith's sins
Help
and
him,
his
Lord.
foolishness. In the name of white baby Jesus, we pray.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Not only the inventions, the United States itself would not be. And I said this at the hearing. It would not exist. Here's the words from Lincoln himself. He said, and I quote, "Without the military help of black freedmen, the war against the South could not have been won." That's what Lincoln said. I didn't say nothing. So when I was at the hearing and I mentioned that, I stand on fact because I read. All I'm saying is put some respect on it and stop being disrespectful because we are our own tribe. Just like you're your own tribe. You know what I mean? I'm not Jamaican. I'm Jamaican by penis. He over there. All I'm saying is I can't claim nothing.
You play the piano, Sister Keisha? You said pianist?
Yes. He plays her own personal piano. It goes ping ping.
With Dr. O'Connor, right? When we were in Queens and I opened for her, she said all the things. The thing that disturbed people, and I'm talking about the people who she came with, okay?
Yep.
They was all cool until she said, we in Africa have to make a way for our brothers and sisters from here. We owe that to them. We owe it to them. I said, oh, shut up. It's over. It's over. I saw they faces went from smiles to frowns. And as soon as I got back up, and Tad is my witness, I said, they're coming for you. They're coming for you.
Yep.
In less than a month, she was removed as AU speaker.
Yep.
All because she said, yeah, you do owe us. No African leader waged war against the West on our behalf. Not one. Up until today. Yeah, we have repatriation programs, but there are no programs or set-asides for us the way their nationals came over here and had set-asides. Sister Marcia talked about that several times on different programs that were available, different organizations that were available. You want us to come bring our resources over there so that you can help rebuild the continent. I get it. But what are you doing for us? What? You can't even chastise your nationals on their verbiage. Stand on something. I don't care if you're from South America, Central America, or the Caribbean. Stand on something. You know right from wrong. Or you just don't give a damn. Well, if you don't give a damn, we got all the smoke for you. We got it all day because we stand on facts. Tad Brooks says she's available. I'm just waiting for Cash and Divine. Cool. Brother Tad, your thoughts, and then we'll go with Sister Mama.
No, you hit it. You hit it dead on the head. There was a time, when I was on the continent, the motherland, and they asked me to build them a castle, build a palace for them, so that when I come to the continent, I have a place to stay. Thought that was very audacious of them. They said, yes, brother, you build a beautiful palace here. So when you come, you have somewhere to stay. And I'm saying, well, damn, what kind of fool am I? Like, do I got boo-boo? So build a palace that I can have a place. Well, nah, I'm good with renting hotel rooms. But see how that works? Everybody wants your resources. Everybody wants you to denounce your own heritage, your own bloodline, and pretty much exalt everyone else. You want me to exalt Caribbean culture. You want me to exalt African culture. You want me to abandon mine when mine is mine, not just by virtue of the bloodline, but virtue of my generation creating hip hop and everything that everybody gets to enjoy. I was there on ground zero. I literally grew up with the Notorious B.I.G., arguably one of the greatest rappers alive. I grew up with Foxy Brown. I grew up with Tech from Smith and Wesson. Method Man used to spend the night in my house as children. When he talks about how he got to Staten Island, he always talked about a lady named Omi. That is Doggy's grandmother. She lived in 160 Park Hill Avenue, got Method Man mother in that family, an apartment in her building. Like, my family is very influential, and we're not even talking about the street culture. When people talk about the gangsters, that's why I tell people, you want to take it there. I ran with the ninjas. I ran with the ones rappers rapped about. And I'm not just talking about C. Gutter. Shout out to my brother Gutter. But I'm talking about, so when we talk about American pop culture, I was there on ground zero before it even existed. My input behind the scenes, I was influential in the direction a lot of people went and a lot of things they've done. So I'm supposed to forego that. I'm supposed to forfeit my culture, my influence, my experience, my values and value system to accommodate somebody else, to live in a pastime paradise. Yeah, we built pyramids and, in times of antiquity, but now you got people sleeping in the streets. Until we start building homes, our people don't talk about the greatness we've done in the past. As one of my OGs once said, yesterday's score don't win today's game. Nobody give a damn about what you did yesterday if you can't solve your problems today. So if you come in here trying to get a problem solved off of what I made and you want to disrespect me, you got another thing coming. I digress.
I'll tell you, family, before you know it, let me hear Sister Marcia. It's almost at the end. I got to hear my sister. 2 piece. Go ahead.
Well, all I could say is that people are funny. Y'all sitting there, even I will tell my family in a minute, ain't no one made no way for you, right? You came into this country because the white man signed a piece of paper and said you could come in. But the white man, like Brother Tad said, this is your limit. This is the community that you can live in. They gave you a border of where you can go. You couldn't go everywhere. And you still don't understand that. And we're still living under this illusion. And I'm just so sad that people don't want to read. And even if you don't want to read, you don't want to listen. Or at the end of the day, you just are so happy to be a part of a system that is crumbling and you refuse to see it. Your home country was crumbling. You escaped it to come here and you're aiding in the crumbling of this country, and you're just going to sit back and say, well, I have my little house. Now I live in Suffolk County. Now I live here. Now I live there. But all those places are where people were displaced and pushed away. Oh, I work in Manhattan. You work in Manhattan where the original folks were that were pushed out. You're sitting there saying one thing I know I mentioned before. My mother used to say, oh, caviar. In my country, that was just right there for the wastelands. Only the starving, hungry people would eat that. Now we go to restaurants and you're buying caviar at $200, $300. How dumb are you? And you're allowing it. We allow the hatred for ourselves. And until we understand that we need to love ourselves, love how we were created. Yeah, we may be vitamin D deficient, but we could stay ourselves in the sun. We could get vitamin D in different ways. But no, I'm vitamin deficient. I have to take this big vitamin D pill. You don't have to take that pill. You just have to re-Africanize your mind or blackify or conscientize your mind so that the vitamin D could be absorbed through your skin. You are missing the absorption through your skin because you're too busy trying to fit into a system that you don't fit in. And yes, oh, the advantages. I will never fault you for an advantage. But I'll tell you this. Yes, I can get a credit card tomorrow and I can do whatever I want. But remember, in your country, when you had your house, you had to build your house brick by brick. Brick by brick, and that house was yours for eternity. In this country, you are on a mortgage for 30 years and then for another forever years because you still have to pay property tax. So you're always on giving them in debt. And in your home country, you are freer than you could ever imagine. And until you could make this country as free as your home country, you aren't doing anything. So I beg, like my Nigerian people say, I beg for you to wake up, because that sister that was in that meeting that I was sitting into, those people that were in that meeting, they all turned their backs to her, and they're all to this day falling for the system. We must do what the system says. It's the system. We have to do it this way. So, we have them amongst us. And anytime we try to open up their eyes and tell them that they're in a false, they'll tell you differently. Or they'll tell you, oh, yes, you're right. And then turn around and talk about you because you're crazy. They don't understand. They don't know what it was like in Nigeria. The Naira is $3 million. Well, that $3 million, whatever it was, you could build your house. You had a house. You weren't tied to a mortgage with interest rate that could flare up anytime they want. You don't understand those things. You don't see those things because you're too busy trying to be comfortable than trying to thrive like the good Black folks that we are.
I've even heard some Moors talking foolishness, against us because the name is trademark or whatever. That's beside the point. I don't want to hear nothing from none of y'all because none of you avenged the death of Corinne Gaines, who identified herself as a Moor. None of you went out there for justice in Utah when an 18-year-old high school student who identified as a Moor. None of y'all did a goddamn thing. So you be quiet too. You can identify whatever the hell you want to. That's your business. But don't step on my toes. Because if you step on my toes, I'm going to crush your nuts. You don't want to do that. So
Yikes.
There you go. So don't do it.
You notice how me and Tad both flinched when you said it, right? Yikes.
Hey, I have to fight with what I have in my arsenal. But we've come to the end of this. Is just letting y'all know to tune in Sunday, 2 p.m. for the OG Wisdom Podcast for part 2. The squad is going to be on deck. It's going to be heavy. Yeah. They give us a little bit more leeway over there. It's going to be heavy. Yeah. So we've come to the end of our program. Brother Black, your final thoughts and comments.
Yes. A very interesting week. Hope with the pimp dying. I already told y'all our Social Security and the red numbers on the back of our birth certificates is registered to the Vatican, and so a big part of that whole apparatus is now gone. Zabriskie is dead, Kissinger, the Queen, the royal family's all gone. I said this on my blogs. The name of it is melaninstitute.blogspot.com. I got to put out a new article. I haven't put one out in 3 days now, but I definitely come with some tonight or tomorrow. And Carmelo Anthony got out of jail and he's been relocated with an ankle monitor. He's going to be all right. We don't live in them days no more where the Klan could just come into your crib and snatch you out like they did Emmett Till, brother Emmett Till. And so we're going to find out what happens. Another thing that most of us probably cognizant of or not, I don't know, but another big thing that's supposed to start next week on the 5th of May is Diddy's trial. Well, actually in a week and a half, starting on May 5th. And I don't know where it's going to be. I assume it's in New York because that's where he's from, but that's going to be a big thing. We see more revelations coming out, Terrence Howard, Kanye, and all the other people. These names will continue circulating, Shannon Sharp now. These names will continue circulating. I already told y'all 2-3 years ago that these days were coming where the industry, and this ain't just about basketball or rap, or it's the entertainment industry. They're all intertwined, even what we're doing right now with podcasts. As we see a lot of rappers or MCs that we knew 20, 25 years ago are doing, they strictly podcasters now, and selling merchandise as a result of that. And so, you know, even though they're not doing what they're known for in the beginning, they're still relevant today and just as embedded in that system. And even if they didn't fall for the okie doke, they know what goes on in those industries. You know, me and Tad were, and Sister Keisha, I don't know about Sister Marcia, have all been involved in the entertainment industry as well in some part or another. And that's why I wrote my book that's behind me. The name is called Boom Bye Bye, Hip Hop Will Never Die. And I exposed the entertainment industry when Dave Chappelle and maybe a few others were going through what they were going through at that time. It wasn't cool to do that at that time. So I call myself one of the Paul Robesons. Griff was doing it at that time, Black Dot, and that's who influenced my book. So not to stay too long, I thank y'all. I love y'all. Great show. Sorry I came in the middle, but it was still a great show, and I learned some things. I'm going to pass the mic to Sister Marcia. Check me out, melaninstitute.blogspot.com. Peace and love to the panel. Peace and love to y'all watching, and peace and love to those later. Peace. Sister Marcia.
I'd like to say thank you to everyone in the audience and playback, likes, follow, subscribe, do what you got to do. For all I can say is that we're living in some nice times, and it's about us taking care of our business and making sure that our brothers and sisters understand what is the real problem. There are pettiness going on outside, and pettiness is not solving our problems. So let's help who we can help and do what we can. I grow food, so that's what I can bring back to the community. I'm composting now. That's what I could bring back to the community. I'm working on getting a couple of chickens. That's what I can bring back to the community. I know my space. I know my station. I'm going to stay in my station. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure that our children are elevated and exalted. Anything that I do and I work on, I try to make it small so the children could understand, so that by the time they grow up, they're not fighting the same fights that we had to fight to understand our position in this world. So make yourself big, make yourself small, macro, micro, whatever it is that you have to do. Make yourself be who you're going to be, who you are going to be, who you are meant to be, and give back, because we need you and we need you in your station. So, brothers and sisters, this was a fabulous Blacktastic Thursday. Thank you again. I can't wait to meet y'all on the bridge next week. Brother Tad. Oh, and if you can't make time flourish, or you can't make time flourish, fight with time. May time be on your side. Brother Tad.
All right. I just definitely want to thank everybody for rocking out with us. Definitely love y'all, to the panel, Sister Keisha, Sister Marcia, my brother Blacksmith. Black, I definitely wanted to get your thoughts too at another time on what you think about Gail and the chick going in the 10-minute space flight.
Gail and who? Oh, you talking about the shuttle that just went up last week?
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. You know that's a whole.
We could talk about that. We could talk about that next week.
Oh, hold on. I definitely want that. One second. What's my initials? Black. No, I said initials.
BS.
There you. That's all it was. I ain't got to say nothing more about it. That's your question answered.
I knew, but I thought it was some type of metaphoric, scientific Anunnakian breakdown. You know, thought they got their hands on some new technology. Since the Anunnaki is back, I read the Emerald Tablets written by Dr. Carson. That's his name. Shout out to all my flat earthers out there, right? But definitely want to thank our audience. You know, definitely without y'all, our sophisticated audience, none of this would be possible. So thank you for adding value to tuning in with us. Shout out to everybody on the playback. Like, subscribe, share. Hopefully you were inspired by something you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. Don't forget, this Sunday, 2 p.m., the OG Wisdom Podcast. We'll have Sister Keisha. Sister Brooke has confirmed. Waiting on Brother Cash and Brother Divine. I'm quite sure this is a show you do not want to miss as we talk about reparations in the future of Black America. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true, and remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Thank you all for joining us each and every Thursday as you normally do. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. This is where it goes down every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe, stay dangerous, keep your head on the swivel, and take no BS. We out of here. Good night.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight. Voice is strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air. Changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K. Warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat. Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly. Underneath the open sky. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power Media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned. Breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics. Every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly. Underneath the open sky. Social talk and politics. Every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary ways.